To give a quick tutorial on a web-based SPARQL tool that I've been building. This tool is hosted online at sparql.gtf.fyi. It's entirely hosted in the browser. There's no server-side component. It's all built in WebAssembly, and it actually embeds a SPARQL query processor based on Oxygraph and a whole RDF database inside your browser. So when you visit this page, you'll be presented with this interface. It's not the most ergonomic, but it contains all the stuff you need. To get started with 223p, you'll want to click a button to load some triples, some files into the database. So we can click this button to load in a sample graph. We can also click this button here to load in a copy of the 223p ontology. All the shackle processing has already been applied to that file, so we don't have to worry about that. And all we need to do is just run some queries on it. So you can see this window right here contains a SPARQL query. It has a very simple query right here, which just selects 10 random triples from the graph. So I can click this button to execute that query. You can see I just get, some of the nonsense that defines the ontology. It happens to be some brick stuff, some QEDT stuff, which isn't necessarily very helpful for us. So let's write a new query. So let's get all of the systems defined inside this graph. Execute that. You can see I get one result. Now, one thing I've done is any URL that appears in this result box at the bottom, you can click on that, and the interface will give you all the predicates and objects that hang off of it. So you can see this system has a few properties. It has a valve position. It's got some system connection points. We can see the type down here. It contains a few things. And any of these links we can also click, and we'll get the readout of their predicates and objects. So that thing we clicked on, its label is A2 damper. Its type is an S223 device. It's also a damper. It's contained within that thing. It's got an error outlet. It's got a position. We can click that, get more information there. We can, of course, write more advanced queries here. So let's get all the devices. Let's get all the properties of those devices and execute that. I also want to know what those property types are. And maybe I want to know what the entity types are too. All right. So see, now I've got these columns. You can uncheck that ellipse box to get the full thing. So ent is an airflow station. It's got a property 0007, which is an analog in. What is that property? That's the flow property associated with that airflow station. So you can see this allows me to sort of explore the graph and click around. But also all of that, the files that you've loaded in, the query that you've authored are all saved in this URL. So you can copy that URL, and you can paste this, you can send it to someone else, you can put it in another browser, and it should load up all the same files, and it should load up the same query. You will have to re-execute it, but again, it's all in the browser, so that should be pretty easy to do.